Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new video on the channel. Today I'll be starting a new series on the channel called What I Watched, where I will be going over and discussing some of the movies I have watched recently. Pretty self-explanatory. Um, but yeah, I thought this would be a cool way of getting my opinions out on like certain movies that you wouldn't see and normally seeing like the rankings and lists and stuff I do, and also for like new releases and stuff like that. You can hear my opinions on those if I see them. Um, but yeah, they won't be like full fledged reviews or anything. Just kind of my overall thoughts. Don't want to be here for ages, but I guess first starting off, I'll go over some of the stuff I've watched on streaming. Um, I checked out the live action Pinocchio movie, the new one, the one with directed by Robert Zemeckis, and it's getting a lot of hate online. And I figured it wouldn't be as bad as what people say, and I was right. I actually kind of enjoyed it. It added some stuff into the movie that I thought really worked. They kind of changed the themes and the ending up a little bit, and I thought it really worked for what they went for. Not as good as the original, obviously, but definitely, if you're a fan of the original, don't see why you wouldn't like the new one. I mean, it's the same story. It's Pinocchio. Um, then I watched the live action Lion King movie. This is actually my second time watching that, and yeah, I definitely liked it more this time around. Again, there's some really cool additions to the story. Not many. A lot of the movie just follows the same beats of as the original, and of course, the visual effects in the movie are just second to none. Absolutely amazing what they accomplished in that movie. But both of those ones I kind of lump into the same category, where I'm always, if I had to choose one, I'd always pick the original. But I guess from time to time, when I watch the original, I might get in the mood to watch the other ones as well, if that makes any sense. So I think they're both pretty decent. And also, the last one I watched on streaming, I watched on YouTube. I watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space for the first time. I don't know why it took me so long to watch it. I guess it kind of had something to do with like I kind of had a bad streak with like those like 80s cult type movies where I just thought they were terrible. Like I watched Basket Case a couple years ago, and I just absolutely hate that movie. I can't remember. I think Night of the Comet's another one where I just bored to tears by that movie, and I was like, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is probably gonna be, just terrible that people like just because. I don't know. I don't know. It's so bad it's good or something. I guess that's what it would be. But no, it was right up my alley. I absolutely loved it. I mean, it's Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Anybody who's seen it, you know what I'm talking about. You know why. I definitely know why it gets the love and the cult status that it does. It feels a lot like a movie that Sam Raimi would have made, and of course. Sam Raimi is one of my favorite directors. I just had that kind of ridiculous and like nonsensical humor that I love, and it was a really pleasing movie to look at too. But yeah, it was just absolutely enjoyed that movie a lot. So getting into the ones I've watched from my collection, of course, we're nearing October, so I've been watching basically nothing but horror movies. So these movies here are either ones that, well, most of these have been ones that I haven't watched in like a long time, and I wanted to revisit them, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now, is revisit a lot of the ones I haven't seen in a while, or haven't seen at all. Speaking of ones I haven't seen at all, and people were going to be surprised by this, but The Fly remake with Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, I had seen parts of this in the past, but I never watched it the whole way through. I think the reason why it took me so long to get to actually sit down and watch it is because I'm just not the biggest David Cronenberg fan. Like his movies I definitely wouldn't consider them bad, but they're just very slow and kind of a slog to get through, honestly. So these movies have like no replay value, like whatsoever. So yeah, it took me a while to get this one, and yeah, I thought this movie was really solid. This movie kind of gets lumped in there with the Thing remake as being, some of the best horror remakes. So I think it deserves that. I don't know about that. Certainly not compared with the Thing. Definitely not. But the practical effects are great. Jeff Goldblum was fantastic, and actually, this was a really well. Cronenberg did a really good job directing this film as well. But yeah, story I thought could have been done a little bit better. And I've actually heard the original Fly movie from, I believe, the 50s. I believe that's when it was made. I've actually heard that one does the story better, so I'd be interested to check that one out. But yeah, I liked it, just not one I'll go back to a whole lot. But this next one I hadn't watched in a while, and I need to watch this movie more often, and that is John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness. Yeah, this movie is just absolutely fascinating. I find this to be just one of the most underrated horror films in existence. Just this movie just has that, distinct, like, John Carpenter atmosphere that a lot of his movies have, like The Fog and The Thing and Halloween and stuff like that. Like, you can just tell that it's a John Carpenter product. This one is no different. Has a great John Carpenter score. Donald Pleasance, honestly, one of my favorites performances and roles for him. Like, he's amazing in everything, but especially this movie, he's really fantastic. But just the premise of this movie and the themes, you got like science, kind of the blending of like science and religion, and like a lot of stuff in this movie still just goes over my head. But I just want to keep rewatching this movie to just learn more about it. And if you have not seen this movie, definitely check it out. I highly, highly recommend it. One of Carpenter's best, I think so. Yeah, really, really love it. Another one I watched was Showy Falls. This is a early 2000s slasher movie, kind of a Scream era type slasher movie where it's kind of has that teen cast with kind of meta and stuff like that. This is a really, really smart movie. Has a really great premise. The killer's killing off virgins. So you have all these characters like getting together, trying to have sex so they don't get killed off. Just really flips the trope on its head. Really, really smart. I would honestly say if this movie had like better direction and acting like on the level of like Scream, like this movie could have been just as popular as Scream. I think so, because it is just that good of an idea. But yeah, really, really enjoy that one. Next up is The Changeling. I've watched this once, like when I first bought it, like years ago. This is known as a classic, ghost story, and I'm not gonna say it's overrated because it's really well made, really, really well acted. Just a bit too slow for me, and the story and the atmosphere isn't good enough for me to really, really draw me into this movie. For me to love it, I like it. But it had been about 8 years since I watched it, and it'll probably be about another 8 years before I watch it again. So, definitely one I don't love as much as seemingly everybody else does. And I think I watched this today, actually. Cape Fear. This is, of course, Martin Scorsese's movie, and, it just kind of boggles my mind that Scorsese made a movie like this, where, like, a few years later he'd make like Goodfellas, and here he's doing like this like stalker movie, or this guy's like stalking this family, and like this, straight up like horror film. And it's really cool. This is a really cool movie. The main problem with this movie, though, for me, is that it is too long. It's about 2 hours and 10 minutes, something like that. And I still think the story warrants that runtime. And kind of by the end, you kind of feel that the story was kind of running out of juice a little bit. But yeah, really good movie. Good stuff. Another one that I hadn't watched in a while, and I really am kicking myself, but Alice Sweet Alice. Yeah, this is a late 70s slasher movie. I remember when I first watched this, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And I think I've watched it like once after that, but it's been, like I said, a few years, and yeah, this movie is great. It just has like a really creepy atmosphere, really great like story to go along with it, where you kind of don't know who's doing the killings at first. And yeah, it's just a really, really, I guess, underrated one from the 70s. You don't really hear this one talked about as much as I think it should be. But yeah, I really, really like 70s slashers. I wish there were more of them. I actually kind of want to go out and try to, find more, because I just really like the vibe that you get from slashers from the 70s, and kind of the atmosphere and stuff like that. And the one I just got done watching, speaking of 70s slashers, although this one's a lot different, is Taurus Trap. So yeah, this was an early full moon movie. Full moon is for people. They nowadays release like these really trashy, just ridiculous movies. And this is back when they were Empire Pictures, I believe that's what they were called. And yeah, you can definitely see the full moon like influence in this movie, because it is just fucking wild. Like, this movie is an absolute trip. Like, such a bizarre slasher. Like, there really is nothing else like this. It's like this supernatural thing going on with these like mannequins or something. Like, it's so hard to explain, but it's just so it works. Like, it has this like really cool like creepy atmosphere to it. So, like, you don't know what the hell's going on, because you really don't. But yeah, absolutely, really, really bizarre movie. Probably the most bizarre slasher movie in existence. But I definitely recommend it. Just don't be expecting a straight up slasher movie. Yeah, so that was all for this one. I don't know how often I'll be doing these types of videos. Probably definitely do one for sometime in October, with the new Halloween coming out and some other cool horror movies coming out in the meantime, so I get to talk about all those and all the other stuff I've watched for Halloween. The next one will probably be a lot longer, because I'll be watching a lot of stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.